Now, as we head throughout this evening, we are expecting the storm chances to be with us, but only up until around 9 o'clock. And currently looking at dry weather over here in downtown Augusta. The Augusta Canal is very muddy, just thanks to all that heavy rain we've seen over the past few days. Temperature-wise, we're currently in the mid-80s here in Augusta and expected to hold steady in the 80s the next few hours. Late tonight, we'll drop down to the mid to low 70s again by tomorrow morning. We'll have a look at those storm chances heading later into the week in just about 10 minutes.
Okay, thanks, Riley. Aiken County deputies need your help finding a murder suspect. They're looking for 26-year-old Jeremy Nobles. He's accused of murder in connection to a drive-by shooting last Thursday. Happened at a home on Audubon Circle in North Augusta. Deputies say he fired shots into the house, killing 28-year-old Rebecca Clark. There's a reward of up to $1,000 for more information leading to an arrest. Aiken County investigators also looking for answers after a man was shot and killed in New Ellington this morning. Happened here at a home on Moonshadow Street just after midnight. Deputies arrived to find 28-year-old Stacy Judge with a gunshot wound, and he was pronounced dead there at the scene. Right now, there's no information about any possible suspects, but we'll keep you updated. In Waynesboro, police are searching for a murder suspect as well. They're looking for this man on your screen, Bobby Turner. The murder happened today at a home on Wallace Street. Police were called to the scene around 2 in the afternoon, so broad daylight. We'll update you as we learn more about this case.
A live look at day 2 in the murder trial of University of South Carolina student Samantha Josephson. The suspect, Nathaniel Rowland, is accused of kidnapping and murdering Josephson in March of 2019. Today, police who arrested Rowland testified along with his former girlfriend. She talked about finding blood in his car the morning after Josephson went missing. And here's a look from yesterday when opening arguments began. Prosecutors say evidence shows Josephson's cell phone tracked her with Rowland's at the same time inside the car the night she disappeared. They also say a witness will testify saying she saw Rowland with the knife that was used to kill Josephson. The defense says no DNA matching Rowland was found on Josephson's body, but someone else's DNA was.
A growing number of Republicans are now encouraging Americans to get vaccinated.
They're changing their position because of the alarming spike in new COVID cases across the country. Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
As COVID cases spike, congressional Republicans who've been silent or against vaccinations are now speaking out to combat vaccine hesitancy.
Everyone should be vaccinated. There's no reason not to be vaccinated. I'm vaccinated.
Florida Senator Marco Rubio's home state has become an epicenter of the highly transmissible Delta variant of the virus. It now accounts for around 83% of new infections across the country.
It's really not a partisan issue. There are some people that don't want to be vaccinated, and you won't convince them.
A recent CBS News poll found Republicans are far more likely than Democrats to say they will not get vaccinated. After delaying for months, Congressman Steve Scalise, the second-ranking House Republican in Congress, says he got his first dose of the Pfizer vaccine this week, calling the shot safe and effective. Both the White House and Congress have been hit with a number of breakthrough infections, hitting staff that have been vaccinated against COVID-19. Health officials stress those who are vaccinated have a lesser chance of becoming seriously ill.
All of the current vaccines work against the Delta variant and every variant out there.
Beginning next month, healthcare workers in New York City will now be required to either get vaccinated or get tested weekly.
This is about keeping people safe and stopping the Delta variant.
In Georgia, where cases are rising, the family of 5-year-old Wyatt Gibson says he died from COVID complications last week. Current vaccines have not yet been approved for children under the age of 12. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
And new government data out Wednesday shows life expectancy in the U.S. declined a year and a half in 2020 to just over 77, largely due to the pandemic. A new study is suggesting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine may be less effective against the Delta variant of COVID. The study suggests this may mean those who got a single dose may need a booster shot. Now, it's important to note this study has not been published in a medical journal yet, so just preliminary information.
Over the weekend, a mini horse attacked and killed on Chime Bell Chase Road just south of Aiken. The owners say 2 dogs from the area they didn't recognize came into their backyard and killed the mini horse. They say Naoki was rescued about 6 months ago from a kill pen in Oklahoma and was just starting to get used to humans again. The owners say they want justice.
I think we really need to address kind of the danger that could come from loose dogs and making sure that people don't kind of just get slapped on the wrist and are allowed to continue on having violent dogs.
Aiken County says that they are investigating this case and have 1 charge of animals creating a nuisance. That's at least more than $1,000 fine or 30 days in jail.
A house explosion earlier today in Pennsylvania, and you can see a lot of damage to that beautiful home done to that house in West Brandywine. First responders say there were several people injured with burns. Officials say one adult and 2 kids were flown from the scene to a hospital. 2 went by ambulance, 1 refused treatment. But by 2:15, the fire was still not under control. They're still working to figure out what caused that explosion.
And look at this, firefighters in Texas are working to fix a chemical plant incident. The accident caused a shelter-in-place and voluntary evacuation order for the LaPorte area near Houston. Officials say gas started to release from a tanker at a Dow chemical facility. So far, there are no reports of any injuries, and the shelter-in-place is lifted. Evacuations are still in effect.
The countdown is on to the first day of school, ready or not. For some kids across South Carolina, it will be their first time back 5 days a week since March. Sarah Winkleman has more on how families and kids will have to adjust.
The next few weeks will be a balanced act of excitement and anxiety, and behavioral health managers at Memorial Health say the first thing for parents to do is recognize and address your own anxiety and stress about sending the kids back to school this year. The second thing to do is plan and practice. So health professionals recommend taking some time this week to get back into that school routine. Whatever you do the night before the first day, get started now. Lay out your clothes, get meals ready, and go to bed a little earlier. Once they're back in school full-time, continue to check in with the kids to make sure they're feeling all right about the transition.
We know that during the pandemic, we've had an increase in mental health symptoms, suicide risk, eating disorders, all of these things, including with children. And so really seeing a change in mood, activity, energy level, to a point where you know that that's not, how your child normally is, we want to intervene early and often.
Horton says that kids are adjusting to new social skills this school year, and they're going to stumble. But her message to parents is to start that conversation early and ask them how they're feeling. Also let the kids know that some days it's okay to not be okay, but today it's all about planning and practicing. So today, take some time, pretend that tomorrow is the first day of school. Get everything ready just like you would so that the kids can get back into that routine sooner before the first day of school.
Health professionals recommend taking some time, not just to get your kids ready, but yourself ready for the school routine.
Good tips right there. Consumers, be aware. Scammers.
In 2019, more than 716,000 preschool-age children were receiving special education services, but only 38% received those services at the early childhood program they attended.
Nancy Alvarez has details on an intervention that supports all children's learning in their everyday activities and routines at school, home, and in the community.
For parents, opportunities to teach kids are everywhere. When I would walk outside and I'd point to things and I'd just name what they were, all young children benefit from the opportunity to learn important skills in the context of their everyday routines and activities.
It is called embedded instruction, and it can be especially beneficial for young children with or at risk for disabilities in classrooms or at home.
Children who may be more marginalized because of differences in their learning abilities, for them to have opportunities to be included, to be accessing the general preschool curriculum.
In a study of 106 preschool children with disabilities, teachers were taught through workshops, training tools, and on-site coaching to properly incorporate embedded instruction techniques. The children gained more communication and language skills and had fewer problem behaviors than children whose teachers did not receive the training. At home, parents can provide embedded learning opportunities in everyday tasks by comparing sizes of spoons while emptying the dishwasher, reading road signs during a drive, and even during breakfast.
Looking at the cereal box and identifying what letters there might be on the cereal box. And although it seems very simple and straightforward, it actually turns out it's embedded instruction.
I'm Nancy Alvarez reporting.
So Snyder and her colleagues at the University of Florida are working on a program that will focus on connecting what they learn at school, connecting with the home and the community, getting everybody sort of on the same page, and that is called Tools for Families. So hopefully that will be available soon.
Good tips right there. You can never learn too much when it comes to kids.
All right, Riley, what is our forecast for the afternoon?
Well, what could be in our forecast for the rest of this afternoon?
All right, thank you, Riley. A Monetta man sentenced to 20 years in prison for allegedly stabbing a woman he met on a dating app in the neck. 33-year-old
23-year-old Shaheen Wise entering a plea that maintains his innocence but admits the evidence against him would likely result in a guilty verdict if brought to trial. That plea deal made 20 years the max sentence. The stabbing happened back in August of last year. The victim says they were supposed to go out on a date, but the suspect invited her into his home. That's when he allegedly sexually assaulted her and stabbed her in the neck with a knife.
A live look here at pictures of day 2 of testimony in the trial for the man accused of kidnapping and killing a USC student back in March of 2019. You can see testimony from the detectives involved in that case as we speak. Samantha Josephson was a senior at USC just months short of graduation.
Lauren Adams reports from the courthouse where they showed some body cam and even dash cam video today.
A big day of testimony, too. They showed that video from March the 27th, the night that Roland was arrested. Here is that dash cam video that was introduced as evidence. The night Officer Jeffrey Kraft pulled over Roland in 5 Points area when he reportedly made an illegal turn. He asked him to get out of the car, and that's when he ran, according to Kraft. Here's some body cam footage of the same incident when Roland took off running on foot after getting out of his car. And here is video from moments later after another officer was able to intercept Roland and arrest him on the ground. The state also showed video of officers finding a rose gold cell phone and keys in Roland's car that the state says belonged to Samantha Josephson. Going back to the day after the abduction, Clarendon County Deputy Thomas Huckabee describes what he saw when he got to the scene.
I went over and looked at Miss Josephson's body laying there. And once we did that, I notified my proper chain of command that we need to get SLED involved because she didn't look like she needed to be there. There was no bloody drag marks. There was no blood spatter all over the place. There was no sign of a struggle in that immediate area.
Now, the state also showed video of Roland going through a Wendy's drive-thru the night before he was arrested. The Wendy's is on Garner's Ferry Road in Columbia. Testimony continues in the courtroom behind me. I'll have live updates on Facebook and on Twitter. Reporting in Columbia, Lauren Adams, back to you in the studio.
The death of a North Georgia boy who died from COVID is raising concerns for parents. There's one more public input session as well as an online survey. After that, DNR will decide if they want to move forward with changing the law.
Some North Augusta high school students getting national recognition today from First Lady Jill Biden. It is an honor from the Military Child Education Coalition. North Augusta's high school's team named the National High School Student-to-Student Team of the Year. The program works to bring military and civilian students together to welcome new students, create a positive environment, and ease transition. So congratulations to them.
A new t-shirt line coming to the CSRA, and it is all local. Chapman Trading Company came up with the Magnolia Loom line back in January, and every part of the process happens right here in Georgia.
Owner Zeke Chapman says
one's making a Georgia-grown and sewn shirt that's made with Georgia cotton that's manufactured in Georgia. And with Georgia being the second largest cotton-producing state in the U.S., it just made sense.
Chapman says they got their first shipment of shirts in June. They're getting 50,000 more in September. We'll have much more from this new business coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock. We've said that talent at Riverview Park couldn't get any better a lot over the past week, right? But as it turns out, it can. Sports director Mike Yakachonis live at Riverview Park with the latest. Mike, what are you seeing out there today?
Meredith, the latest is that the talent getting better actually doesn't apply to the boys. And if you look over my shoulder, over my left shoulder there, you'll see there's no college coaches here today, so things have been a little bit quieter, but that doesn't mean in the earlier slate of games there wasn't a lot of noise coming. And in that earlier slate, it was all about the girls. The Nike Nationals, the Peach Jam equivalent for girls basketball, was last played here in 2016 before moving to Chicago. Today was the opening round, and a full field of college coaches were here for it. Understandably, Dawn Staley was not here as she gets ready to lead the U.S. Olympic team. I did see one staffer from UGA, one from South Carolina, and a scout from Georgia Southern. And as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, there are no men's scouts here right now. We're going to have a full recap of everything Peach Jam coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
All right, thanks for that update, Mike. We are
Stanton Optical. Unbeatable prices without the drama. station that's on your side. This is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Another failed request for a forensic audit into all of Augusta City departments. But the conversations about accountability, they are far from over.
My take was that we'll try again. But at the end of the day, we do need an audit.
How the focus on finances is starting to zone in on the mayor and where your commissioners stand in the fight for an audit in just a few minutes.
But first, there is big news from Columbia County's new Amazon Center. It's what we've all been waiting for. Hundreds of jobs will be up for grabs online starting next week.
Our Celeste Springer is there on your side with what kind of jobs are on the table and how you can apply for one.
Well, it's finally here. The majority of jobs are about to be posted for the new Amazon Fulfillment Center, and the buzz is undeniable. Already today, people were lined up outside of a Goodwill in Grovetown ready to get interviewed and hopefully walk out with a job.
The economic impact is going to be far greater than I can even fathom right now, quite honestly.
Goodwill Industries hosting a job fair for Amazon. Hundreds ready for a chance to apply.
You keep hearing employers complaining about how they don't have any employees. We've got over 200 people out there in line waiting patiently to be able to take advantage of this opportunity.
According to the Development Authority, job postings will go online July 30th. The hiring process will start August 2nd.
What we're excited about are some of those people that have been out of the workforce coming back in. I think we'll see a good bit of that, and that'll give them a good boost that they need at this point.
Those in line to learn more about the opportunities at Amazon likely excited for the $15 an hour starting pay.
We are coming off of COVID in a time where jobs have been lost at numbers we haven't seen before in our lifetime, and I think it's really important that Amazon is choosing to place a facility here.
With most of the management positions filled, the company is looking to hire hundreds of other employees to work the floor.
So this is the bulk of the positions. This is the people working with the stocking, picking, packaging.
And there's more jobs, more growth, and more opportunity right around the corner. Celeste Springer, on your side.
Once those jobs are posted, this is where you will go to apply online at amazon.jobs. All you have to do is enter Appling right there into the location, and then you hit search, and there you go. The list of positions should come up. Right now, when we look, there are about 20 or so upper-level management positions posted, and like we mentioned, we expect even more to be posted coming up next Friday, the 30th. So make sure you check this out. All the information right at your fingertips. And if you're looking to be one of the very first to apply, take a look at your screen. If you text this code, you'll get an alert the second jobs are posted online. Those are the letters AGS now 1 to the number 77088. Of course, we'll put this for you on our WRDW app if you don't have a pen handy to write it down.
We have much more news ahead, but let's check in now.
The Live by Camera Network is brought to you by Mountaineer Pest Services. On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Now that we're more than a week and a half into Peach Jam, we're still enjoying every second of it. We're also starting to enjoy something new. Nike Nationals, which was played in Chicago the last 4 years, is finally back at Riverview Park after its hiatus. Nike Nationals is going on simultaneously with Peach Jam. There are only 2 age groups for the Nationals, but plenty of women's college coaches are cashing in on a first-hand look at some of the promising, up-and-coming women's basketball players. With very few men's coaches attending today, if any at all, these were some of the louder games on the day. What we lacked with coaches was made up with stars attending. Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James were both back at Riverview in the afternoon. And I want to show you how the LeBron James effect works locally. James was sitting in on the NJ Scholars in their game against Houston. The Scholars boast top-ranked 2023 prospect DJ Wagner, but really haven't drawn much of a crowd. With LeBron watching, plenty of the spectators followed. By comparison, 2022's number 2 prospect, Jalen Duren, had very few eyes on him at the court just next door to it. So, who's going to make it to the weekend? The top 2 teams from each pool will advance to Saturday's rounds. From there, the winning teams will play again in the evening. Those winners will get to play on Sunday for the Peach Jam Championship. Every game is a must-win at this point, and ties will be decided by point differential. Things were relatively light on the teams today, just playing 1 game, but that all changes on Friday, where the teams will have to play 2 games to finish up their pool schedules. At Riverview Park, I'm Mike Akchonis on your side.
Thanks for that update, Mike. If you have any